and they were given solar panels by a university in the United States, and some way somehow they've stopped working. So we're going to figure out how Powur is going to help them.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Well, keep spreading the gospel of solar. Keep doing your ministry work. That's so awesome. I'm glad you were still here, by the way. You had every reason not to be, which is Powur for all of us. So keep doing you, my friend.
Thank you. I won't stay long, but I wanted to come on and say hey.
Absolutely. The team loves it. All right, Katie, are you there?
I am here. Do you see me, or is my computer all messed
You're
up?
You're glitching a little bit, but you're loud and clear, and that's all that matters, my friend.
Welcome, everyone. This is Monday, January 23rd. This is the fourth Monday of January 2023. So let's get it started. I wanted to see if anyone had any wins. I will say I wanted to wish Adrian a happy birthday, but I don't see her on just yet. Does anyone else have a win for me? Come on, I know someone does. Rosario, let's go.
I got a win.
Let's go, Marisa.
I'm in Honduras and I got a bill.
There you go, babe.
That's called showing off.
Sorry, I mean, I could show off with the view.
Let's go.
All right, who else has a win for me?
You got a couple hands up, Katie.
Showing off. All right, Jim, let's hear what you got.
First of all, thanks for having this platform, Aaron and Chris. You guys are amazing. I wanted to just give a shout out to Greg Lira. He brought on an amazing business partner, Demetrius, in a state that we're not even serving yet, but Demetrius is a full-time solar professional, and he saw the opportunity to do digital door knocking with us, opposed to just, cranking out those doors in his area. So I'm super delighted for Greg and super delighted to have Demetrius on the call with us training today. Also, Russell Berthollet, he's been handling some of my incoming lead calls. We got like 8 bills in the last week, so I'm super excited to see what transpires from that. Chris Hart's been doing some incredible, mentoring with me. Dude just blows my mind how gifted and talented he is. And when these guys are comparing to us and I put Chris Hart on the phone, they're like, wow, you guys are different. So we've got some good things brewing. Super excited to, have all these moving pieces coming along, and, the people in our group are having some success. So let's keep it up.
Great, Jim. Well, welcome, Greg. Awesome to have you here, Demetrius. How about you, Trisha? What do you got?
Hey, okay, so my husband Brian's on here too. We just got off the phone with a mortgage lender here in our area who has committed to sign up. I'm sure he's going to be signing up any minute. And so he's going to be crushing it and marketing a lot to agents that he's working with for Powur.
That's awesome, Tisha. Welcome. And all right, Michael, what do you have?
I have a shout out to Katie for taking on the opening of this call. Congratulations. And taking the coaching from last week. And this is where I really commend you guys, because you go on these calls with Chris and with Aaron and take the coaching, because this is what it's all about. So last week, the conversation was develop your own story. I didn't have one, really. And I had a couple of big wins last week. And now I'm using that and making my own story up and making the dialogue around that. So that's
you are doing just amazing, Michael. So happy for your 2 wins last week. All right, Chris Hart, what do you got?
I'll start off with the team as a whole. Man, you guys are doing some amazing things. You really are. I mean, just love seeing how so many people are just leaning into the coaching and applying what they're learning. Some of us, it took a little bit longer than others. Point of the matter is you're still plugging away. So give yourselves a pat on the back, because a lot of you guys are the same faces week in and week out. So that says a lot about your commitment level. But a couple things. One, James Corey, you'll see him on the screen, Gains with James. Just want to give him a shout out for, doing the right thing. He was a little frustrated. Feels like he's taking action, not getting the results, and he did what he was supposed to do. And he got on his upline leaders schedule. And, we had a good coaching call this morning. So he's ready to go out there and start pounding some doors. So kudos to him. I had a couple of them. I was looking at the screen, but Aaron changed the screen view on me. So Jim, I'll give him a big shout out for being chosen to be on tonight's call. So please make sure that we're all on that tonight to support Jim and really light up the thread and with solar icons and just continue to support our team members. So please, guys, make sure that you guys are out there promoting that as well. And there was one more, completely slipped my mind. I apologize. So I'll pass it off, and if it comes back, I'll just re-raise my hand.
And thanks again for an awesome book club this morning, Chris. Great
Yeah.
job.
Absolutely.
All right, Maureen. Let's hear it.
Okay, so I feel like I was asleep a little bit in December, and Summit woke me up. So I'm really excited. I did 3 presentations last week and following up, and used the new roofing virtual proposal. So I'm going to go back with them today, and just loving like the new systems and things. I have another presentation tonight, so I'm just really excited to close a couple of those and just keep going. And I have 5 people committed to hearing Jim talk tonight, so that's really exciting. Thank you, Jim. I'm really excited to see you present. And gosh, there was one other thing I wanted to say. I can't remember. It'll come back
Well,
to me.
Maureen, you've been on fire since you've been back from the summit, so it's great to be around your energy, and you're really just pouring it into our team. So really appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and Katie, awesome for kicking off the call today. Rocking
My
it.
pleasure. Thanks so much. All right, Lisa.
What up, team?
got
What
on
up,
fire
team?
too, honey.
What up, team? What up, team? High fives for everybody. Yes, I am working on my second PZC, of course, on Thursday at 6 o'clock. I'm inviting like crazy. So hope that's going to work for me too as well. I've gotten a couple of calls today for the people who are on the last one saying that they're going to sign up. They had a couple of them had some personal issues. So, but they're coming. One of my installs that I'm working on in Woodbridge, she act like she mentioned it to somebody I know, but they already know that I'm doing solar, so they're gonna send me a bill today too. So yeah, let's go. Oh, one more thing, Greg Evans is on this call for the first goddamn time. Hey, Greg.
Hello,
And
Lisa.
Greg had his I didn't even know it. He has his first deal almost done.
Yes, first deal is almost done. And last week I collected 2 more power bills, and I haven't been on the call. I've signed up like I think 6 ambassadors. So I just need to reach back out to those people and get them going and put some fire up under them to start referring. So yeah, happy to be here on the call.
Great to have you. I also wanted to give a shout out to my girl Adrian, who it's her birthday, but she's also doing her first proposal with Aaron this evening. So let's go. All right. So Aaron, I didn't see you.
Yeah, you got
start.
one more. Marissa has a hand up.
Oh, you're coming back. Okay, Marisa.
Sorry. I actually wanted to give a shout out to all of you guys, to the leadership. Want to actually shout out my mom. While I'm away, she's definitely stepped up as a leader, reaching out to the other individuals on the team, reminding them of the PZC, letting them know what they got to do to invite. So shout out to mom for stepping up.
Great. That's great to have your mom.
Oh.
She's a power hitter.
I have one more. If any of you guys live in the South Florida area, Bobby Smith is adding one tour date to his Tampa, Orlando to come do an in-person prospecting presentation for us. So Joelle and I are going to be kind of leading that with Bobby Smith. So just start thinking. I know Maurice is going to come out with some people. So if you're in the South Florida area and you want to come and start thinking on, it's going to be a Wednesday night, February 15th, to bring people. That would be awesome. We want to pack it.
Great.
That's awesome.
Great to hear it, Maureen. That's awesome.
Katie, one thing I'll add to that, Maureen, even if you don't live in that area, you still want to send guests because we have a Solar Icon hosting. We'll take care of them. So pack the house. We should all be recruiting to that event. You don't necessarily have to be there. If you live there, you better be there. If you want to live in sunny weather and you want to get on a plane, go do that too. But don't let the fact you're not physically there stop it. Maureen will take great care of them.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to actually now go on to the national leaderboard. And we have a lot from our team that are really on fire so far. Tisha with 3, Greg with 2. Then we have Alexander, Tamara, Michelle, John, Jarrett, Neil, myself. It should say actually 2, by the way. They're all 1, but I should be 2. It's just, let's be clear there. Nathan, Eric, Harrison, Terry Thomas coming in with one, Keith, Giovanni, Daniel, Jim. Can't wait to hear you again tonight. Russell with one, Hishimu, Demetrius, Shane, Paul, Jerry, Judy, and Mary Ann, all with one. Way to go for referrals so far in January. Way to go. That's awesome.
Two more on the last page, unless you said it and I missed it.
Oh.
Brian and Steve also.
Sorry, I can't see that on my screen.
No worries. Brian and Steve, huge congrats. Awesome. Katie, I appreciate you stepping up. This was huge for you and for the team. Your energy is great. You gave Marissa a run for it, and she's always high energy. So once again, I just really appreciate you stepping up and kicking the call off. Okay, let's jump into tonight's Monday recruiting call. We talk about it every single week, but this one's extra special, guys. We have one of our very own. Jim is going to be on the national stage today. So we absolutely want to have recruits there. All of you who have heard his story, heard this man talk, he kills it. Every time he speaks, the team blows up the chat. Can we get more Jim time? You got it tonight. You just got to show up there and go get it. I don't know if Ramsey, he's not on our actual team, but he plugs into all of our events. I did invite him here today. He will also be on the stage with Jim. I want to give him a shout out as well. But once again, guys, same time, same link, powerhour.com, 5 Pacific. For those of you on the wrong coast, I had to slip it in. Those of you on the right coast, it's 8 p.m. Eastern, and I'm just kidding. But guys, make sure you pack the house. A little bit on Jim's background. He's too modest to say it. I think he did 250 or 300 million in sales last year in Arizona. All those of you in the real estate space, that is an insanely high number, like grossly high. I see Greg, he knows, like that is ridiculous. He is super, super humble. Saw the Powur platform through Terry Thomas and just jumped in, all hands on deck. What I love is a little sidebar to his story, guys, is a lot of times we're recruiting successful people. We all want Jims on our team. People who are already successful are already pulled 1,000 different directions. He has a beautiful family. He obviously leads a massive real estate business, yet he saw this and jumped in. So anyone you're talking to that uses, I'm too busy, I got to focus on my one thing, Jim will beat that thing up and have them jumping on an application to join your business. So make sure you're inviting to that. I know I challenged everybody in the chat bar last night to stake your claim. And we have a lot of people already having confirmations on that, but don't quit, right? Keep pushing. We have several more hours until that event. It promises to be a really, really good one. You guys have seen the flyer. Make sure, please, that you are sharing this with your new teammates. Really, really important. We have an amazing, amazing lineup. We need more hands plugged into all these amazing events. Number one way is when you sign somebody, it should be one of the first text or emails, if you prefer that way, to send to them. Get them to plug in, get them to not only see this flyer, guys, you ready for a little cheat sheet, little life hack? Have them take 2 seconds with you and add each of the events to their calendar. If you are on your new seller's calendar, you end up owning the calendar, right? Really important. Even if they can't make it every single time, it's that reminder. By the way, make sure you all have Powur Hour on your calendar. It's the only way you're going to breed that habit to show up and to be inviting is if it has calendar space. Okay, cool. Couple announcements before we jump into today's training and then turn it over to each and every one of you for the traditional fireside chat. We have some equipment price drops. Our CEO shared this a few days ago. I believe it was on Thursday. He was able to negotiate substantial price drops across all of our equipment. Applies for not only projects already sold, meaning they're not installed yet, right? So I'll use Greg's. He's doing an install right now. It's not physically installed. That still counts. These extra costs are going to be their savings, right, for the homeowner. Anyone that already has the project that's been contract signed but not to install. So Greg's example again, that savings goes to Greg. I do not know another company, another CEO that treats business like this. He could have very easily said, I've been in businesses where this is said, hey, you know what, Greg, appreciate it. On your next one, it's going to be all new contracts signed. He said, no. This deal goes into effect now. I'm going to retroactivate it. That's huge savings. He's going to see an increase in commission just because of that. I use language like this to solar pros because they are used to not having anything like this. I shared it with Joe, one of my favorite solar pros, and he was blown away. He literally said his words, this anchors my decision for being here. I've never seen a company do that. So anyway, really cool savings that we're able to pass on to our clients and or yourselves. A couple financing and updates. This is the first time, and Chris will correct me, he's the finance guru on the team. The first time I've seen a drop in months. in months. Don't anticipate more coming in the near future, right? But this is huge. Run with it while we have it. Good Leap has created the 25 3.49 semi-exclusive for Powur. Another recruiting strategy for those who are on the building an empire. When I'm talking to solar pros, we got loans that your company doesn't even have. Right. In addition to the latest price drops, I believe it was between 250 and 500 basis points on all the 499 products and higher, to include the 599, the 499, and 599 as well. I would encourage you guys to take a screenshot if any of this is going over your head. It's important. We had a question last night from a solar pro, and I literally copied and sent this to him. Sunlight Financial is retaining the 2.99. It's still not my favorite product, if I'm being real with you, but it is there for those that want it. Key products that us mentors like right now from them are the 25-year 299. There goes Chris. He's gonna clean up all the misspoken information I gave, all the fake news. No, but the 299, I'm not a fan, quite frankly, right? Just keeping it real because of the 39% dealer fee. That one just stings and hurts. It's hard for me to stay in my chair. But for someone that needs that low interest rate, we have it. My two favorite from them right now are the 15-year 799 with a 3.75 dealer fee. That's downright sexy, we're being honest. And then the 999 on the 25-year at 3.75 again. Full disclosure, for the past 2 weeks or week since this drop, I have been running a lot more Good Leap than anything else. It's been pretty advantageous for at least the clientele that I have been running. Chris Hart.
Unfortunately, I don't have any corrections, so I apologize, man. Sorry to disappoint you, but guys, these drops are the equivalent of thousands of dollars. Okay, so what does that mean? And I would personally go back to any of your proposals that you've done in the last few months and hit them back up and say, hey, we've just had a drop in financing fees that's lowered the overall cost of the system. If you'd like to go back and revisit, I'd be happy to do a revision on your proposal. Get them back at the table. I mean, we're talking thousands.
Great advice. And by the way, mentees, because there's more of those on the call than mentors, and we're looking to change that right now. In my opinion, this is not the mentor's job, right? Especially good mentors. We're tagged in hundreds and hundreds of deals. Katie was one, saw this post I shared, or she saw Bud's, I'm not sure which one, doesn't matter. She instantly hit me up and said, hey, how would this apply to so-and-so, a proposal that we couldn't run because the numbers didn't make sense, right? That was her being forward. Now, I challenged her back and said, you now know which ones they are, go plug them in, like report back and let's see. That's why I said, take a screenshot. So any of you that have done your job, you've uploaded proposals, maybe even ran it, it didn't make sense then, or you couldn't run it because the numbers just flat didn't make sense. Go back in here, plug in a few of these, see what it does to the number that Chris or I or any other mentor last ran, and you'll be able to see the savings. Now, two savings numbers you want to look at, really pay attention to. It's not only the monthly, but it's also the overall loan amount. Because if we can make either one of those more sexy, it could be worth a follow-up call, right? So once again, play with that. Yes, Maureen.
Sorry, Aaron, did you say, because I've been using those Good Leaps that you suggested last week when we talked, but now you said which one are your two favorite? Was it the Sunlight 25 at the 9.993.75%, and then the other Good Leap 5.9?
The Good Leaps for me right now have been winning for the last week. I have been running those exclusively. However, I know Chris likes the Sunlight. I like Sunlight a lot. If you're looking for my language, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm trying to get a seasoned borrower, someone maybe in financial, they know numbers, things like that. My language that I use, the closest I can get you to cash with still leveraging someone else's money is going to be that Sunlight.
The 9.99.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
If I'm battling with monthly, and a lot of on the eastern states, we're not blessed to live in Cali like some of you guys. we got to battle a little bit more, and so for me to be able to get that monthly down for them, if that's important, those Good Leap products have been really, really good.
All right, thank you.
That's the other beautiful thing. She asked a good question. It's not one size fits all. That's what makes it special. That's why you really, really want to make sure you have someone that understands this. We're constantly playing with these numbers. I speak for Chris on that, and now Maureen as well. Really trying to plug it in. I go into every call with at least two scenarios. If they're really trying to attack monthly, that's important through our needs analysis. That's where I'm going to lean. If they're more seasoned, the more concerned about the overall cost of the system, then I'm pivoting to the Sunlight typically. Chris, I can't tell if your hand is up because my thing blocks it, but I thought it was.
Yeah, it is. I'm going to finish typing this and send it out. Here's a quick little peek interest script. You can go back to some of the people that you've done proposals for. Hey, if I could save you thousands on the proposal that we showed you previously, would you still be interested in exploring solar? Or you can pre-frame that as, hey, we've just had some pretty significant reduction in the fees associated with financing. If I could save you thousands, you know, blah, 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 just get them back to the table. The other thing on the financing, again, a lot of you guys are new, so I'm going to reiterate this about understanding the association with term, rate, and fees. The higher the term, what's going to wind up happening is you have more risk. So risk comes with what? Fees, right? Risk reward. The financer is going to get more of the reward. But when you look at rate, the lower the rate directly affects monthly payment. Fees directly affect overall loan amount. Okay, so when you look at 299, you're going to have the lowest monthly payment on that, but you're going to have the highest overall loan amount. You've really got to dial that in sometimes, guys. It's not always just selling on the lowest amount or the lowest monthly payment, because you scroll down the screen and all of a sudden they see $85,000 for their system because you've got $25,000 in fees based off of that almost 40% dealer fee. That's going to be sticker shock for people, right? So something just to keep in mind, that as you're learning this process of selling solar, if you're a tier 1, I would encourage you, ask your tier 3 mentor, why did you choose that one? Right? You may even hear it. They, you know, depending on how they dial it in. But learn to understand the difference with these financings, because when you guys ask some of the questions in the threads or text us privately, it has a tendency to show us that you're just leaning in one direction, and financing is not a one size fits all. Not like Aaron said, not everybody is bought into the lowest monthly payment. That lowest monthly payment could actually do more harm for you than good, because if you can sell them on 30 plus $40 more a month, that'll save them $15,000 on the front end loan amount. That might make more sense. So just keep an eye that as we talk about, you know, the terms, the rates, and the fees, they all have an effect in the numerics and the economics of the financing of the system.
Good stuff, Chris. You know, part of what Chris covered today on the book club, and we'll go back to that, you guys need to be there, was the art of promotion. Anyone that's running to deal with me, you guys know my close. I say it every time, right? At the risk of sounding salesy, I just got out of a meeting with our CEO. I would do the same thing with the script he just said. Oh my gosh, I had to reach out. I just got out of a board meeting with our CEO. Some of our interest rates just dropped. Like something along those lines, because it lifts you up. It lets you know your meetings, like you're plugged into what we're doing. Anything you can do to really help sell that. Michael.
Yeah, does it cost anything to, like, if I want to hit that revise the proposal, do I need to talk to you about that first, or just hit that button and it'll send back a new with new equipment and finance charges?
Send me a text and I'll take care of it. Whoever the mentor is can order the revision.
Okay.
Because there's language and things we got to add that I don't think you have yet. But yeah, great question. Yep. And by the way, for the revisions, guys, in my opinion, Chris, you obviously run yours. We don't order revision just because everything expired. I know who Michael's talking about. If they have not gone ghost, they're plugged back in. That's when you want to order it, right? So you can still go tease this. If I could save you, that's what Chris said. Not I'm going to save you. If we need to order a new one, we will. But it's not just to always, you know, keep bombarding the system, ordering new ones with people who've gone ghost that never showed up. So we do have that. We want to make sure we're just using it wisely. Anyway, really good stuff. Everybody got a screenshot of this? Really important. It's all on one page. First time ever. Okay, cool. We want to talk about the welcome call. This was planned at last minute because of Chris Hart and what he did on the book club today. Really, really important. We spent a long session today. In fact, most of the session really tied up in two things. First being follow-up, which is so freaking important. It was such a good session. I hope Chris will share that recording. I'm sure he will on his page. And then the second piece was really the importance of a welcome call. And we had so many new sellers on the team, even some seasoned ones, where I think we kind of got away from the basics. A few of us, obviously Chris, Maureen, I don't know if James Warren's on here or not, another one who have been trained on this and really, really know it, but it's really, really important. So I want to spend about 5 minutes going through it quickly, and then we will turn it over. So a couple goals of the welcome call. First and foremost, the sponsor. So I'll use Maureen, and Maureen recruits Katie, and I'm sure she wished she did. She recruits Katie. The sponsor being Maureen, the seller, the recruit is Katie in this story. Hopefully you're tracking with me. Maureen's job, her duty is to set up 3 welcome calls for that new seller. Ideally, it's done the same day. Yes, if she recruited her at 11 o'clock at night, are all 3 happening that day? Probably not. But you guys get where I'm going. At the bare minimum, it's inside of 24 hours. Some of the best people on our team are doing the same hour, right? Success leaves clues. So I do want to show you what the outliers are doing. Really important. A couple suggestions on who this person could be. So I sponsored Maureen, thank God. So Maureen could reach out to me. Aaron, I got a new seller. You got to meet her. She's a pistol. She's a firecracker. She's a rock star, whatever. She would set up that call with a sponsor. All of us here on this team do have a sponsor. So that is one you could do. By the way, if you are a sponsor and you haven't done this training is for you because it's now your time to step up. We got to have more people, more boots on the ground doing these welcome calls. It's really, really important we grow our leadership and raise that leadership lid. It's a very easy call, but make sure if that is you and you've never done one, you're plugged in. Cool. I see a lot of eyeballs, so I love it. A second suggestion on that call would be another tier 2 or tier 3. Many of you might not have this on your team. It's okay. We are all a team. We are all a family on Solar Icons. We preach this every single day. It's the law of reciprocity. If you're giving yourself to the team as a whole, someone else is going to give it back, guys. It is that simple. So please, please don't be afraid. I know Maureen and Katie have hit it off. Marissa, I have no issues. And Maureen sent Marissa a text. I'm sorry, I have no issues for Marissa. I'll speak for her that she'd ever be like, Maureen, well, I'm not on your team. Of course I'm not doing it. Are you kidding me? She would move things around to do that. That's the culture of what we're building. And then the third call, and I believe the most important, right? If we're taking ego out of this, it's someone who has a similar background, career, story, and probably more important, income goal. This is huge. So Katie's goal is to make $20,000 a month. Maureen, to the best of her ability, is going to, I know I was just shooting a number. I love that you're calling me out. Maureen's going to find someone else on the team with a similar goal and or who's doing that or very close to doing it. Because that just anchors it. Think about it. She just met the upline. So now she knows it's bigger than Maureen. Like, wow, that's cool. She just met another person who's successful. That's really cool. Whoa, there's another person who's a real estate professional. There's another person in title. There's another nurse doing this. And they're already making what I want to make. Oh my gosh. Can you guys see the difference real quick? Like, it's absolutely huge. Okay, so now let's get more into the structure. So those were the goals of the welcome call. Anchor the new seller, really important. It helps them lock in their decision. Right now, they are in love with Powur. From here, it can only go down. They lost their login. They didn't get the email. So everything we can do to keep that momentum up is really done through that welcome call, the 3 welcome calls, especially if they're done with brevity and they're done quickly. Number 2, this is what we talked heavily about on Chris's call today, is to identify talent. This is big, right? I'll use Maureen and Katie's story again. Let's say Maureen's known Katie for 10 years. Well, I know Maureen, and I know Maureen hangs out with talented people. I know Maureen loves people. She probably thinks all of her friends, all of the people in her sphere are talented. Not a bad thing. We all do, right? None of us want to hang out with losers, right? You guys tracking with me? So she might think that. When she gets on the call with someone like me, I love doing this. I'm going to ask certain questions that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to give you guys the cliff notes here in a minute to where I'm trying to force out how talented Katie has the potential to be inside of this opportunity. Not saying she's not talented other places. She might be, right? In fact, I know she is. But I want to see how talented she is here. And I'm going to do that through questions. So then at the end of that call, maybe Maureen in this example didn't know Katie that well. She came from Craigslist. She came from a networking event. She came from Facebook. She might have not been as attracted as I was. And I could be like, Maureen, holy shit, you got a live one here. Like this girl, oh my God, she's going to kill it. Maureen's like, oh, really? Like, what made you say that? I could share with her my ahas real quick. Now Maureen knows, you know what? I got to go lean in on this. I got to go do my own investigation. Is there a potential rock star inside of my organization? She can now focus more of that time over to the new seller until the seller either proves us right, which is great, or proves us wrong and self-identifies as someone that we don't need to be spending a lot of time with. So it's really important to have that checks and balances. I cannot stress that enough. That was the number one thing I missed in a previous opportunity. It was the talent scout portion. If you can identify talent as a sponsor, guys, or as a leader of people inside your organization sponsoring, you will win this game. You will win this game. I've got to be direct here. It's important. If you're relying on everybody on your team to identify talent and lead and train them, you've lost. Most people won't, right? Maureen's job is to get inside her team, identify talent so she can lock arms with them as quickly as humanly possible. Everybody with me? Okay, super, super important. And then the third thing we want to do is encourage tier 1 completion. Maureen is going to struggle being a prophet in her own town. damn it, she tries to prove me wrong and she does a really good job of it, but it's hard. Her besties see her as a best friend, right? They see her as a leader. They see her as everything else she's ever been successful in. Someone that just cares about people. They might not see her yet as a solar professional. That's not a knock. It's the truth. She's new to this. She's 6 months in, right? So when you have a person you edified on that call and they say, oh my gosh, Katie, you ready, guys? Ready for this? Bonus script. Katie, can I share with you what the top business partners of ours are doing? See Maureen smile. She knows I talk like that. She's on these calls. What does Katie say? Hell yeah, share it. Maureen, you ready? They knock out tier 1 same day. Same day. Success leaves clues. They are knocking it out. They do everything in their power to finish that 3-hour training day one. Day one. So I got to ask, are you going to be successful in this company? Guys, I can say that to her. Maureen most likely cannot say that to her bestie. Like, that's a really hard combo. Put the kids to sleep, cancel date night with your, she's not going to say that, but let me say it. Right? I'll set the stage for that, set the expectation. Chris, let me finish this last one. I'll come to you next. And then number 4 is to, and my favorite, is to set the PZC launch. Big believer, guys, about 80% of the team or it's the 80-20 principle, excuse me. 20% of the sellers we bring on are really going to lean into this and really want to do it. For those that don't, and you're going to flesh it out in the questions I'm going to share in a second, it's really, really easy. They will self-identify. I love businesses like that. They just do. They will self-identify. I'm not bringing up the PZC launch for those personally. That is where I'm leaning on the tier 1 training as quickly as possible so they can get a bill in the system, right? Those that leaned in, that ooze that talent conversation, that is where after I recommend the tier 1, I'm pivoting right now to launching their freaking business, to like launching it. Write down that word. It's not starting. We are not the rest of the Powur. It talks about getting someone started right. This is about launching someone's business. We want to get them paid as quickly as humanly possible. I want to get them an organization as quick as humanly possible. The faster you do that, the stronger they are to be here. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, good stuff, man. And to kind of parlay on that is what we also talked about was story, right? And something to understand, guys, is by getting your people on a welcome call, you're also creating that leverage for you while you're starting to figure things out, right? Nobody wants, I believe a lot of times when we hear from people, oh, I don't have the bandwidth to do something new. What they're telling you is not that they don't have the bandwidth to be successful. They don't have the bandwidth to spend all the amount of time that they need in order to get this thing up and running so it can be successful for them. When you use leverage of your upline leadership through the welcome call, that introduces to them the people who can be leverage for them. And when they have that and they plug into it, you know what that creates? Results. And results create a story, right? So if someone were to tell you, hey, I don't have the bandwidth, we don't just throw out there, well, hey, let me introduce you to Jim Wayner. This guy's $250 million real estate team. You know, he's got family, kids, you know, if he can do it, so can you. You say, hey, what if I could show you leverage? What if I were to show you a system that through leverage, that people are going to work with you, that the only thing you need to know is how to be good at connecting with people and inviting them to an opportunity, and we'll do everything else for you. Think of this welcome call exactly like what the mentorship program is in this business opportunity with Powur. It's your leverage. It's your earn while you learn. Okay. And the welcome call is the initiation into that. That's what I got.
Yeah, it's huge. You know, I'll add a little bit to that too. We're all not for everyone. And in fact, I thank God for that. Like, we're not supposed to be. And if you're trying to be that for everybody, my humble opinion, you're going to lose, right? We are who we're supposed to be. I go very, very fast. I am very, very direct. I have sponsored people that is not their love language like whatsoever. But if I can get them on the phone with a Lisa Bailey, a Maureen, a Katie, a Michael, who are much better at that than I am, that could be the anchor that helps their business explode. That's the other thing, right? Once again, check the ego, because some of you might be worried. I know I was in the very beginning. Well, what happens if they like Maureen more than me? That means you did your freaking job, because they were going to realize they didn't like me very much. But if I can show them this team is so much bigger than me, they're going to gravitate towards somebody. And it happens all the time. We see other people in different lineages like building relationships. That's the beauty of solar icons. Anyway, yeah, great segue on that, Chris. Okay, so who's ready for my steps for this call? Thank God. We have one person, Maureen. Maureen, I'm just going to talk to you. I'm going to go delete everybody out. Oh, other people are showing up. I love it. Maureen, I'm still only going to talk to you, okay? So this is what I call the 6 steps to a killer welcome call. First and foremost, leaders, right? This is not just for new people. If you are a sponsor, you are recruiting people. My expectation is you are going to be doing these with us. At the very end, you're going to take a screenshot. This call, are you ready? Is 5 minutes or less. That's probably the hardest part of what I'm going to teach you today. If you are not practicing this and you're not concise, you're long-winded, and some of you are, God bless you, I love you. That was not my gift, unfortunately. You need to hone this, because if you role model that this is a 25-minute call and you have you have talent on your team. So Maureen recruits Chris Hart. She demonstrates getting him on the phone with me. Chris is excited. I go through a 30-minute welcome call. And I tell them how we do this with every new person. I'm really excited about it. I did my job other than the longevity of the call. Chris is thinking, and he probably won't say it, although he might, wow, I have big plans to recruit 15 people a month, and I got to do a 30-minute call personally 3 times with each person. Guys, Chris is self-checked out. Like self-checked out. And you might not even know why if he didn't tell you. This is a 5-minute call, can be squeezed in, like squeezed in. So really, really important. Step number 1. I always start with, so I'm going to use Maureen again. Maureen recruits Chris. Doesn't she wish? No, thank you. You're not stealing them. So Maureen recruits Chris. She's immediately going to set it up. We're going to schedule it, right? These calls are scheduled. She gets Chris. Chris, you there? Chris like, yeah, I'm here. Awesome. Aaron, are you here? Yeah, I'm here. By the way, you don't do Mr. Browning, none of that stuff. This is not like the network marketing side. We're all business partners. We're all equals here. She's going to say, Aaron, awesome. I appreciate your time. I know you're so busy. I want to introduce you to Chris. He is brand new to our team. I met him at X. He's really good at this. She's going to edify him a little bit. She's not going to make him glow in the dark and walk on water, but she's going to lift him up just a little. And then she'll say, awesome, Chris, I got to introduce you to my business partner. And she'll say whatever, my ride or die, make it human. And she's going to edify me. This guy's killing it. He's built one of the fastest growing teams. He actually comes from a similar background to you. I cannot wait for you to hear his story, but he just has a huge heart. He's here to help people. He pours in trainings all week. It sounds like we were talking about yourself, but you guys get where I'm going. You're going to edify them. Really, really important. I'm going to say, wow, Maureen, I'm so excited. Chris, if you're friends of Maureen's and she speaks so highly of you, man, well done. You're a friend of mine. Chris, this call is 5 minutes long. I'm letting him know the stage, right? We grow into the conversations around us. Really important, because you might not be long-winded, but Mr. Chris Hart might be. So I'm telling him, I know you're busy. I know Maureen's busy. I'm equally as busy. We got 5 minutes. We're going to rock right through. Is that cool, Chris? Chris like, oh yeah, right on. Cool. Awesome. Chris, I always like to start with your story. Can you spend 15 seconds real quick? Give me a little bit about your background. Here's what happens. Make sure you say 15 seconds. I taught this years ago and the person didn't say it. That person spent 5 minutes talking about them. It happens. Tell them 15 seconds. Reel them in if you have to. Really important. You can get off track just in the first question. What I love about this question, sounds basic. Couple things. I want to get Chris talking first because I'm going to be dominating this conversation, unfortunately, because I got a lot to cover. I want him to talk. Number 2 is what he leads with first for his story is most likely his driver. This is good tips, guys. Good tips. I'm telling you. I have some people that lead with, oh my gosh, I'm a family guy. No knock. I have other people, man, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Like I'm building, man. I'm crushing it. I love to travel. I love to do this. I'm a minister at church. Whatever they lead with, first or second, it's really, really important to them. Like really important to them. I try intentionally to take notes when they're talking about this. It's 15 seconds. They're going to go through it. Awesome, Chris. Thank you so much for sharing, man. It's cool. You're a man of God, whatever they say. And if you relate to it, obviously relate, don't lie. And then I'll say, awesome. Step number 2, do you mind if I share my story? What does Chris say? Absolutely. You guys see in the beginning, it's more of a conversation. It's not just me jumping into, I'm getting permission. Chris like, oh, absolutely, Aaron. I can't wait to hear it. Maureen speaks highly of you. Yours can be a little longer, 30 to 60 seconds. My quick one, awesome, Chris. I'm going to change it a little bit, not fubbing it, but I'll tailor key points based on what he said, what I know about Chris to make it more relatable, right? A little higher level. So Chris is from real estate. And like, awesome, Chris. Yeah, similar story to you, man. I'm actually a dad of 2. You got me beat on that front. I know we're not working on the 3rd, right? So you'll win that one. But yeah, I come from real estate, man. I built up a very successful business, but I was hustling, man. I was grinding. I was working 60, 70-hour weeks. Although we did well financially, I had no time freedom. I was missing quality time with my beautiful wife. I felt like my 2 young kids didn't know who their pops was because I was either in the field showing homes or I was in the office with my team. And I got introduced to this amazing opportunity 6 short months ago, and I jumped all in. For the first time, it offered leverage, right? It offered income that could come in from work I'm doing today that would pay my family and future generations for years to come. It offered me ownership in the company. And those are just 2 of the key things I just couldn't turn my back on. So I thank God for this opportunity every day. Does that make sense? Right? Something along those lines. Chris is like, dude, that's awesome, man. I could totally relate. Like leverage, I don't have any of that. I'm like, awesome, man. We're going to talk about that. Cool. And then real quick, Chris, do you mind if I share our team story? About 30 seconds. He's going to say, yes, of course. I made it the tie down. I made it the question. Really, really important, guys, on this one. I did not do it at first. This really anchors somebody. In fact, let me go through it. I'll tell you why. So I'll say, awesome, Chris, do you mind if I share our team story? So yeah, cool. Listen, Chris, Maureen does a great job. Great job. She's about to add you to our Facebook Messenger, our Facebook group, and also the corporate Facebook group. Our private Facebook group and our Messenger, I call it the $1 Million Mastermind. Like you're literally granted access today. She's going to welcome you, and I don't want you to be alarmed. You're probably going to have 30 or 40 of our teammates congratulate your decision. Many of them are going to say, welcome to the #1 fastest growing team in all of Powur. I want you to know right now, that's not sales hype, brother. Not sales jargon, whatever you want to label it. You just joined the fastest growing team in the entire freaking company, man. Whatever that was, God, spirit, universe aligning you with Maureen and now our company, be grateful, man. Be thankful. Okay, off script. Here's what happens. I'm going to use football. If you get drafted by, I used to say New England, I can't anymore. Who's the best football team over the years?
You can't even say Buccaneers anymore. Brady
No.
is down and out.
Go Bengals.
I'll use the Bengals right now. If you get drafted by the Bengals, thank you, right? Only in Ohio, as my kids say, whatever that reel is. You get drafted by the Bengals right now, next year. You might be 6'3" already, you're playing football, but you're drafted by a Super Bowl champion, you're walking in 6'5". You are walking in thankful you weren't picked first by the loser team. That's how the draft works. You got picked by the best, one of the top organizations in the country. You are walking in with borrowed posture. I'm beating my chest like Matthew McConaughey, right? It's important. And so when we did this by accident, Chris Hart in this scenario, guys, you ready for this? This is the cool part. He does not want to be the reason Solar Icons goes from the #1 fastest growing team to 3rd to 5th. I'm not even going to go beyond that because my mind doesn't think that way. He doesn't want to be. He's walking in knowing. He knows whatever systems and tools we're about to impart on him are working. They're proven. Are you guys with me on that? So freaking important. Off script again. We need to have 30 or 40 people welcoming every single new person so that at least those of you that use this script, it works. It's really, really important. Powerful. Okay, so question 4 and 5. You ready for this? This is where we get to the talent identification scripts. I can't tell if Chris is laughing at me or his wife, but either way, he's laughing. The next question I'm going to ask Chris is, Chris, real quick, why Powur? Okay. This is a talent flushing out question, scenario, whatever you want to label it. 2 answers. And by the way, full disclosure, everybody with me? There's no wrong answer. The reason Chris joined Powur and Maureen is Chris's. That's his business, his prerogative. No judgment here. They're his. But there are certain answers that talent would say, right? And so answer number 1. Aaron, I joined because I've known Maureen for years. She's always successful. I've always admired her. And I thought, I don't know, why the hell not, man? Like, I don't know. I didn't really have much to do right now. And I thought, yeah, cool. I get to hang out with Maureen. Anything wrong with that, by the way? No, I like hanging out with Maureen. That's his friend, her friend, his friend. Like, why not? I get it. Answer 2, Aaron, because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of not taking my kids on the Disney vacation I promised them for the last 5 years. I'm sick and tired of missing date night on Friday. I'm sick and tired of not being fulfilled. Real quick, throw in the chat, answer 1 or answer 2. Which one oozes talent? Oozes that they're going to jump into this opportunity guns blazing. I don't see the chat going off. Hopefully you guys aren't confused. Should be answer 2, guys. Answer 2. He's sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And so usually you're going to get an answer of one of those 2. It's going to fall into one of those 2 buckets, right? Pretty easy. I'm not the smartest guy on this call. You know that. So I had to come up with a second question just to make sure I was tracking correctly. And question 2 is, Chris, I appreciate you sharing that, man. I'm excited. Like you got me pumped up. I got to know, Chris, you ready? How much do you need to make a month for this opportunity here at Powur with Solar Icons, Maureen, and myself to be a win for you? And then you shut up. 2 answers again. Answer 1. Man, if you and Maureen could get me to make $500 a month where I could pay my electric bill, my phone bill, my internet, oh my gosh, my wife would let me sleep in the bed again. My kids would kiss me. I'd kiss you at convention, right? Something along those lines, right? Not a bad answer. It's his answer. Or Aaron, quite frankly, I don't know if it's been done before, but I need to get this opportunity to $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month has me and my family in a whole different place. You tell me what I need to do, who I need to become, and who I need to do it to, and I'm all in. Answer 1 or answer 2, guys. Answer 2, right? He's setting a big goal. Both of them have a place to, or both of them are allowed to play inside of our team, inside of our organization. Both. We're going to help both. The reason this question is really important for the talent side, if Chris Hart only needs to make $500 a month, you guys ready for some tough love? No offense, he's not a favorite on my phone. He's going to get group coaching. Group coaching. I can get anybody there. I know Chris can get anybody there with our team schedule that we have 6-7 calls a week. Any of them. If you plug in on half those calls, you're making $500 a month. It's a given. Versus I need to get to 30K a month. Uh-oh, Maureen. Uh-oh. I got to move someone out on a favorite on my phone. Like that's going to take some one-on-one. That's going to take some group coaching with Maureen and I. We're probably going to be having check-ins at least weekly, if not daily, right? It changes the level of leadership that person's going to get. It changes the conversations we're going to have. And I know someone here is thinking, I get it because I get it privately all the time. Someone's going to text me, Aaron, you had me until question 5. I don't know, Chris. You want me to ask him about money? You're damn right I do. I cannot lead somebody if I don't know where they want to go. I can't. I can't. I cannot impart my $50,000 a month belief on what I want for every single one of you on somebody that wants to make $500. We're going to butt heads. I'm going to be calling Chris. How many people you got on tonight? Let's go. When's our PZC tomorrow at 9? Let's do a follow-up tomorrow at 8. If he only wants $500 a month, I'm blowing him out of the water. I got to know that so that I can respond to him, so that I can lead him where he wants to go. You guys with me? Okay, really, really important. Number 6 is to set the date and time for the PZC for the 20% that want it. Depending on answer 4 and 5, you are going to know, maybe even answer 1 about why they're here. I'm sorry, why Powur? Sorry, yeah, question 4 and 5, excuse me. I'm going to know right away if they want to do a PZC. My script on that, I'm going to go ahead and presume Chris does, because I know he does. Chris, listen, man, the thing I'm going to share with you next isn't for everybody, and so I hope it's okay if I share it with you. Hell yeah, he feels special. Awesome, man. Listen, the top achievers on our team, those that want to get after it, those that want all the leverage income they can freaking get, they know an opportunity in front of them. We have identified the number one way to get their business launched. You ready for it, Chris? Yeah, I'm ready for it. Put me in, right? Yeah, listen, it's called the PZC. It stands for Private Zoom Call. It is a highly leveraged activity. You and I are going to set this with Maureen in the next 24 hours. I'm going to give you a date and time. I'm going to give you the sickest script you've ever seen. This script has recruited over 7,000 people in 3 years. All you have to do is send it out to everyone you care about. That's your warm market. People you know, like, love, and trust. Anybody you want to bless. They are going to hop on this Zoom call. Are you ready for the leverage, Chris? You're going to sit there all pretty with your beard and just wave. You're going to say hi and welcome. You're then going to introduce either Maureen or myself, and we start to work for you. We're going to run the dopest 15-minute presentation this company's ever seen. In fact, the presentation's so damn good, corporate begs Maureen and I to speak on the national stage to share it. And we're going to keep it just for you. We're going to run this presentation. We're going to walk them right through everything you just saw, and we're going to sign everybody up. We have found about 70% of the guests on these calls, if handled correctly, end up joining. And so we have people brand new, just like you, launching their business inside of their first 24 hours. So my question for you, Chris, are you ready to get your business launched? Any answers? By the way, some will say, you ready for this? I missed it on the other question. I see Maureen because she knows. Guys, it's true stories, real life. Some people will say, Aaron, I love that you included me. You mentioned tomorrow. Like, what are you doing next week? They'll hit you with it. I've had some be like, I was kind of thinking February for a launch. Guys, they're self-selecting. They're not talent right now. Not saying they won't ever be. They won't get it. They're not right now. A PZC is made for launching. Not a little moped, not a little go-kart. We're going to ease into this. If we're booking it on my schedule, it's inside of 48 hours. It is for people that don't know how. I haven't read the script, but yeah, dude, you tell me what to do, I'll freaking get after it. That is who that call is for. When delivered correctly like that, painting the vision, letting them know we're going to hold hands. I'm giving you the sickest script. Maureen's the best presenter this company's ever seen. You're walking them through this. It is very hard for them to say no, but some will. Some will. For those that say next week, next month, I say, awesome. Listen, I don't think the PZC launches for you because this is made for like really high energy. People can carve things out for tomorrow. So your number one goal, we're going to pivot, Chris. Your number one goal right now is to knock out tier 1 training. I know you mentioned you got a lot going on this week. Can I challenge you? Yeah. And I'll ease up. Can you take the next 3 days to knock it out? It's an hour a day. Can I count on you for that? And then I plug them in. So either way, the outcome of this call, it works every time. They're either going to knock out tier 1 very, very quickly, or we have another runner inside of Solar Icons who is going to launch their freaking business. You guys got me pumped. Chris, I can't tell what you're thinking. I don't know. Did I lose anybody? Are you guys with me? Any thoughts? Anybody want to throw something at me? Huh?
I was taking notes, dude. You didn't lose me. I was taking notes.
Love
Yeah,
it.
you
You
were
went a little bit longer, so I do apologize.
You are like You were like extra Aaron today.
Yeah, you're in flow, bro.
You're like,
Appreciate
I
it.
love it.
Yeah,
Like
it's
Aaron
all-
on amazing caffeine times 10.
It's
Yeah, you're in the zone, Aaron. Really, really good.
Cool.
Hey, can I-
I think it's
Can I add a
Bob.
couple things to that?
Yeah, go for
It
it.
takes longer to explain a 5-minute call than to do a 5-minute call.
Yeah.
Well, that's ideological, yeah.
Well, I love the why behind it, right? Because no one taught me that. And that was the hardest part. And that's why I skipped around. I had to fail forward, right? Part of leadership is speeding it up. And maybe it's just me. If I know why something is expected, why I need to do something I don't feel like doing, I'm more apt to do it. I really am. And that's part of the reason why I love the trainings where they show that. I just think it's important versus like, Jim, just do it because I said it. Like, no one wants to be talked like that, but you just don't understand it. Chris, go for it.
Yeah, so when he masterfully connected himself to what the other person said was their 15-minute story, right? It's, remember I tell you guys, we got to listen with these things. You're listening to that story at the beginning to find out what's important to them. Like you said, it's their driver, so that you can connect to that. There's two very powerful statements that the subconscious will make. And when you can get the subconscious to say either one of those two statements, you can influence anyone. The first one is me too, and that's right. Not you're right, that's right. So if you can get someone to say, yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, me too. That's connection, right? When you build that connection, then you have greater power of influence. Very powerful statement. You just joined the fastest growing team in the entire company. Everybody wants to be a part of something, right? That's just how we are as humans, right? Communal connection. One, we want to be a part of something, but studs want to be a part of something profound. And that, if you recruited someone that is a runner, a stud, talent, whatever label you want to put on them, that right there will speak to them. They want to know they're a part of something, and then they want to be a part of that. Right? Like Jim didn't come in and just light it up because that's what Jim does. You know, Jim is texting us, like he's got his goals. He's telling us his updates. He wants to be a part of what we're building because he's proud to be a part of what's being built. Right? If that wasn't the case, Jim would be off out in right field, building his own team, doing his own thing, having his own meetings. Right? So just understand that those statements are very profound. So great job with that, brother, man. Couldn't have done it better myself.
Appreciate it. Michael.
Just to piggyback on that, I really sets the expectations for the people coming into the business as well. When you're laying that foundation. At a previous company of mine, we had a small office of 8 people, and 3 people, I'm happy to say I was one in that office, the National Rookie of the Year and Sophomore of the Year. So when people come in and you're starting at a high level, people expect that's where I need to be, and they jump right to it because you're going to play the game.
Yeah, it's setting the expectations. Here's another one, Maureen, I'll come to you in a second. I used to do this, and I still hear people doing it. I did pivot, right? I had to learn this. I would warn people, we're going to add you to Messenger, depending if they were a little bit older, maybe that wasn't their cup of tea. I would warn them. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Listen, there's going to be a lot of messages. Just do the best you can. I don't say that anymore. I say it's $1 million mastermind. You're going to hear 30 or 40 people sharing scripts, sharing wins, sharing checks. I don't expect you on there every single day. I'm sorry, all day long. I expect you to check it at least twice a day. I do. I expect you to be in there and seeing it and feeling the energy, seeing what we're building, because it's freaking contagious. And they'd be like, oh, I can commit to that. I can commit to that, versus me like hiding it. I was almost, it's not ashamed of it. I don't know. I was just like, I didn't want them to be like blown out from it. And they still might. I can't control that. But I'm letting them know what the power of that group is so that they lean into it. Maureen.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that you said that are so important. And I'm committed to doing it differently this time because I didn't before when I built teams, was having that, meeting them where they're at, understanding what their goals are and not projecting your goals onto them. Because I did that all the time because I was running in the other company that I was in and I couldn't understand. I just thought everyone would want the same thing, and so I created a lot of resistance because they felt, even though my intention was to lift them up and come with me and this is what's possible, they felt like they couldn't live up to my expectations. And so it created the opposite result. I didn't create a space to support them and meet them where they were at. So then it just completely had them go away. Right. Yep. So I love that meeting them where they're at. And then the other thing too was, oh gosh, I can't remember the second thing now. I got so stuck on my first thing, muting myself. I know we're short for time.
Yeah, come back. The one she just said is really important, guys. And this is something I'd love to pick Jim's brain out on a private call. That was my kryptonite for real estate. I would build a team. I'd bring over some players who were culturally on my sales team, like on my actual team. They did not have the same desire and drive. And we would butt heads because of it, to the point, I'm being honest with you, I would even lose respect because I just didn't get it. But it was me. It was me imparting what I wanted onto them. No leader can do that and be successful. It is impossible.
Yeah, that was the second thing. So it was
Jim,
a
come
double.
to that, 'cause I'd love to know.
Yeah, it was a double lose because I was pushing them away by making them feel
Yeah.
awful. And then I was also wasting my own time because I was wasting my time chasing after people that didn't even want something. So it was taking up all my time versus just continuing to find other people or pour more time into those that really were having elevated goals and results. So there's something for everyone. And once we know in the welcome call what that person wants to create, there's the space for them, you know, and it's that creates a win-win for everyone. There's space for everyone.
100%.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah, so what we do is I ask people what their goals are up front just to kind of get a sense on like how fast they want to roll. And then I ask their permission if I can keep them accountable on that goal, because then they give me the opportunity to kind of keep them on track. And if I see them getting off, then I will encourage them and go through and dissect like where the gaps are, you know, that's gotten them off track. So, you know, I always say, like, if I want you to be more successful than you want to be successful, you're not going to like me. And I don't want to waste your time or my time. So, you know, if you want to win and you want to win big, I'll help you. You know, I have the blueprint to where I got from here to here to here. You know, I can hold your hand and show you those steps that I made, you know, to kind of take those leaps. But you know, I don't force anyone to do it. They let me know. And then if they give me permission, then yeah, I'm going to keep in touch with them. And, you know, it's going to allow me to allot time to them based on what their goals are. So, you know, not everyone comes into this company or real estate to make 6 digits a month, right? Some people want to make 5,000 or 10,000 a month. That's totally cool. We can help you with that, but I'll know how much of time I will allot for that person. But I'll help anybody that wants to win, you know, because I think what their goals are, there might be a better version of themselves inside that I can kind of help unlock. And I've seen it happen so many times. So I'm delighted to kind of contribute to that growth. But again, it's on them at the end of the day to take the action and do the work. All I can do is, you know, just be a trusted set of eyes and, you know, give them the blueprint. I can't make the calls. I can't make the connections for them. That's something they've got to do. At the end of the day, they'll show you if they're willing to do the work, and that's where I will put my time and focus on.
Good stuff. You know, I think the thing you ended was arguably the most important, at least to me. I know it speaks to everybody at different levels. This is just the first step. Ultimately, people are going to show you who they are, who they aren't. It's just a fact. I've gotten some people on the team who are so excited for me to meet somebody, and 2 weeks later, I mean, they're ghosts. They're MIA. They're not on any calls. They're not doing anything. That's who they are. That's what they showed up to be. Can it change? 100%. Part of our jobs, though, as we build this thing out, and we're going to have 10, 20, 30, 50, 100,000 people on this team in the next few years. Mark my words. We got to get really good at, as leaders, of spending our time with those that are going to have the biggest impact on what they're trying to accomplish, but also what we're trying to accomplish. This is a business. It is really, really important. Like, I'm looking at Brian right here. Brian has a lot of my attention right now. Him and his wife are leaning in, right? So if I have a limited time, I got 15 minutes open, that's who I'm hanging out with right now. And I'm just picking on them. We have several, but it's important versus trying to go resurrect the dead. Someone who's never plugged in, never done anything, right? That's part of the reason we're having these dialogues, is so that you can really lock arms with those that want to run, those that want to make a big, big impact, right? Really, really important. We got time for one more and then we'll shut it down. Anything else? It could be on anything else, this topic, whatever you guys want. And if not, we'll use a lot of your time.
Power
Power, cool. Okay, let's go. Sorry, we have one more, then we'll go to Power. Russell, go for it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for. I wanted to say thanks for dropping all that knowledge. It's like the thing that I lost track of in the beginning was my system. My system with how I begin the steps when I get somebody on the phone, when I get the follow up going. Like, that's something I've been having an issue with. So I just wanted to let you know I appreciate you dropping that. I took some screenshots to get it in, man.
Awesome. I appreciate
I feel
that.
like I'm all over the place, bro. You know.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, growth is chaotic. If he's not all over the place, he's not growing. So embrace growth, embrace chaos. It's going to be there. We can clean it up. We have some really smart people on the team. They're coming in every day, a lot smarter than I am. I'll use Brian and his wife again, Maureen. I know Jim, that are really good on the system sides. In fact, John was challenging us this weekend about creating some sort of like one pager. So it's stuff that's being worked on right now to really simplify the best steps for getting someone launched. So that will be coming to help simplify the process. Okay, let's pivot real quick. We have the Monday night tonight. We have Jim on there. I'm begging everybody, let's show up big. Change your name to whatever your name is, Solar Icons. Let's represent this. He is going to steal the show. He always does. I'm sure Ramsey, if he's here, will do well too. But for sure, like last time we had a Solar Icons, it was Maureen. I felt bad for the person that followed. So if Jim was respectful, he would tell Bobby to let him go last. Because that's what he's going to do again. The other cool part, make sure you're leveraging this, guys. It's not someone I know. It is my business partner, my right hand, my ride or die. Jim is on the national stage. You got to see him. If you're not talking like that, you are not leveraging Jim. Jim is on stage right now, to obviously for his team and for everyone else, but he's on stage to make everyone else a lot of money. Pimp him out.
Go Jim, go Jim, go Jim.
Be the best promoter,
guys,
right?
You're not using that. My ride or die, my partner, that's the language I'm using. Oh my gosh, you got to hear what this $250 million agent saw in Powur in 2 minutes of seeing a video. Like, you got to hear it. They won't want to miss it. You got to hear what the #1 EXP agent in Arizona is going to say tonight. People want to see that. Leverage it. Get guest on there. For some crazy reason, unbeknownst to me, if you can't get a guest, you need to be there. We all need to be there to show support. Jim would do it to you. So I'll play that friend card. I know he won't. But let's all support him. Chris, did you have a hand up?
Yeah, and if you're a drinker, bring a drink with you tonight. And every time he says Solar Icons, you got to do a shot.
Oh,
I'm not a drinker, so I'll bring water. But anyway.
Get shots of apple cider vinegar. Me and you.
Shots of apple cider vinegar, straight up. That'll be my thing.
Oh, God bless you. Well, guys, I appreciate it.
My throat's burning now just thinking about that.
Hey, it's literally on the top of my list. I'm starting out with that shit right there, Chris. So. I
thought you were showing a grocery list. You're like, actually, apple cider vinegar is what I needed to buy. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Got it.
These are my notes for tonight, because I'm gonna have a little flow chart to go through, make sure I cover everything and give credit where it's due. This isn't about me, guys. This is about the team we're on and everybody, the collective genius of our group. We all get to benefit from it and draw from each other and enrich ourselves in ways that we only dreamed of before we found this opportunity. So yeah, I appreciate it. I got to jump on a recruiting call with James Federico. Much love. Hey,
bro, kill it tonight.
Hashtag, hey, one thing. Hashtag KFR. Keep fucking recruiting. Love you guys.
I love it. Right. On that note, guys, I did record a new video. If you have not seen it, please give feedback to people who have seen it. They're really, really positive. It's awesome to have that. If you need it, make sure you go to Facebook Messenger, go to your upline. We'll make sure we get that over to you. It's on YouTube, and we also have a landing page for it. But yeah, like I said, get it out there. Not today, because today's about the 8 o'clock or 5 o'clock if you're on the West Coast. But every other time, leverage the video, use whatever video you like. Hope you guys have a great day. Katie, thanks again for stepping up.
Hey,
Appreciate
my pleasure. Let's go fucking rock it.
No, it's recruit. Wrong R.
Keep it clean. This is a family team, everyone.
Yeah, really. I love it, guys. Be good. We'll see you guys tonight.